Hey, my name's Emma, and the module that I wanted to propose to you today was actually about video game culture. And video game culture is such a large genre, such a large area that you could look into sociologically. But the main ones I wanted to focus in today were of escapism and more of just sexism is that occurs in video game culture. What made me really interested in video game culture when thinking of an idea for this project is that in such a progressive world, no matter how many protests or how many history lessons that you teach, gaming culture seems to persist and remain toxic. There will always be some sexist or racist person on the internet, and you learn that that's just how it is sometimes. And I wanted to learn why it is. And I was actually able to find two articles that could help me better understand video game culture. And if I could just read those. Okay, here's the first one that I could find. This website or this article, Video Games as Culture, Considering the Role and Importance of Video Games in Contemporary Society. So in this article, you learn how video games are this completely different. It's a completely different world that you put yourself in. It really is a world and it is a society, but it's outside of our society and it's more of an imaginative, a new one. A society where your rules aren't as important and you can kind of do whatever you want. They call this escapism. They can leave their 9 to 5 jobs and they can just hop on the video game and just be part of this completely different thing. Get out all their anger, do whatever they want, and they're never going to meet these people ever again. And that is the idea with escapism. And then they also address how this idea of this freeing escapism is what leads to such racist or such sexist sayings, as video games do induce a lot of anger. This could help students better understand sociology, as we see video games as just things for entertainment, but in reality, nowadays, video games are really controlling a lot of the younger generation, especially. I feel like a lot of people don't really understand how much influence video games affect and influence the younger generation. And I think that could be an issue if video games continue and to persist on having such a toxic, sexist, racist community and just low tolerance for all that. Yeah. And then another article that came to mind was this one that I also came over. This one is Perceptions of Women in Gaming, Exploring Implications of Intersectionality. Okay, this one's really long, but this one in video games, everything seems to be gendered. Every game is either meant for boys or girls. Everything, if you're good at this game, you're probably a boy. Or if you like doing this thing, you're probably a girl. Everything is just gendered in video game society or video game culture, which is also what draws me to this because it looks like everything in video game culture seems to be gendered. And I wanted to know why, because it really is just a video game that we created, but why are these stereotypes so often occurring? And I think this one helps you sociologically imagine because they give you a lot of reasoning as to why the division of gender is so often occurring in video games and how they give you a little bit of brief history on women in gaming and how things came to be. And overall, I think that this is a great article. It's only 12 pages, so it isn't that heavy of a read. but they define the lines of the gender roles in gaming culture and what it means to be a woman in gaming. Yeah. And then for the movie I wanted to watch, um, I wanted to assign this Rick and Morty episode into something similar to that one time that we watched Curbing Your Enthusiasm. I think that this Rick and Morty episode, it relates to the both of the articles as they really show like the division between roles of women and male. And I think that can relate to video games as that's pretty much the main thing I'm trying to tackle here. And then they go to a different planet, which I think could relate to escapism as they are escaping their own planet and going to this completely new society where set where Summer is actually praised. Women are superior, men are inferior. We see a lot of gender roles in this episode. We see a change in social setting, like the escapism article. We see, yeah, we see gender roles being very defined and very clear. And then we also see how in that world, the world is completely female, what that is like. And overall, I think this is a great episode just to watch. We see Morty taking the role of the caretaker, and then we see Summer taking on the role of the queen. And overall, I think this one is great for sociology because it gives you a great outside view. And you might think that it's weird at first, but when you think about the roles, the system of this new society, then I think you can relate it back to both of the articles and video game culture. Thank you so much. That's all I have for you today. And I'm sorry it was a little bit longer. Thank you.